What is probate and why is it relevant in California? The definition of a probate is the sale of an owner's property after his or her death is referred to as a probate sale. A probate sale may include real property such as a home, land, personal possessions, and other assets that can be converted into cash. A court normally supervises the sale, and proceeds are divided amongst their creditors and their heirs. This is important to note for this topic. A California living trust is a document that enables an individual to manage their assets both during and their lifetime and after the death while avoiding the probate process. This will be our form of a will. Those two definitions are really important to understand for me to go into this topic in depth. So I want to start off by saying that I'm not an attorney and I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just making a recommendation. Now, why is this important, you may ask? Having a living trust in place makes sure that your affairs are taken care of when you are gone. I know this is a morbid topic, and let me tell you, it's not fun filling out the documents while you're in the process of finalizing a living trust. Having a living trust will allow you control as to who's going to have access to your accounts and your affairs, and instructions as to how things will be distributed and to who, giving legal authority over them in the process. If you don't have a living trust in place and you have assets over a certain dollar amount, when you pass away, it's going to go into probate. Here's an example of what a probate situation can look like. Let's say Bob, your neighbor, passes away. He's single, he owns a home, he has an adult daughter that, of course, he intended on giving everything to. Without a living trust, there are no clear instructions as to who Bob wanted to access his account, who his belongings he wanted it to go to, even though we know who he intended to give it to, and how his assets will be handled. At that point, his property will most likely end up in probate court. What happens when things are in probate? The state will appoint an attorney to handle Bob's affairs. They will dissolve his assets, pay off his creditors, and then divide his assets among his heirs. In this process, how does the attorneys get paid? Well, they charge themselves, and the last I checked it was 5% and up, going off of all of Bob's assessed value on his assets. That's a lot of money. So think about this. While Bob's family is grieving, his family will also have to work with the attorneys, attend court hearings, and settle these accounts and affairs with the attorneys. It's a long process. I've seen some of these things take years to play out. So here's something to think about. The cost of a living trust can start at a few $1,000s. I'm not sure. You should call your local attorney, and it really does depend on how much assets you have. But if you think about it, it's penny on the dollars spending a few $1,000s, maybe a little more than 5% of your overall assessed assets. That could be going to your family. The main point of having a living trust is you get to control where your asset goes. You get to spare your family, your partner, your friends from having to reconcile your assets with a probate attorney and going through the probate process. If you're ready to take the next step, I recommend searching for an estate planning attorney or a living trust attorney, the ones that specialize specifically in doing these. They're going to be the one to advise you on what to do best. Follow these tips and save yourself a boatload of time.